Hi there YouTube, and welcome to my guide to Omega and all their watches. I'm going to give you a run through of their collections, their key watches, what they do well, what they don't do so well, and who their watches are for, so you can have an easier time figuring out if one of their watches is for you. If I were to use two words about Omega, it would be variety and depth. Omega really has a broad catalogue of watches and overall also a fairly strong lineup of watches. A lot of watch brands have big selections, but ultimately it's a very small proportion of their watches that are actually worth taking a look at. I'd even go so far as to say that a brand like Tudor has been like this for a while. They're a bit of a one-trick pony, and I'm going to make some people unhappy, but it's the BB line and not much else really getting attention. That's not the case with the Omega. High level, they have the Constellation, the Seamaster, the Speedmaster, and the DeVille lines. The only line that I really consider weak is the DeVille line, where a lot of their more classy, dressy watches lie. The proportions are not always great, the bracelets are not pretty, and they don't stand out particularly compared to the competition. But that's about it. If you take the Constellation line, especially with the Globemasters, they're excellent watches with a ton of variations that I think are worth a look for those looking for an alternative to a Datejust or an IWC Pilot. And then we get to the heavy hitters, which are the Seamaster lines and the Speedmaster lines. The Seamaster line has the Aquaterra, the 300M, the Planet Ocean, and the Heritage models. The Aquaterra is also a superb dress active lifestyle watch, much like the Globemaster, at a reasonable price in a ton of variations. The 300M is probably one of their most sold models and competes directly with the likes of Submariner from Rolex, where the Planet Ocean competes with the Sea Dweller. We can talk a lot about technical specifications, but at the core of it, the Planet Ocean is for people that either actually dive or have bigger wrists and want a watch that fits that size profile. The thing though is that under the 300M line, and all the others for that case, you have a ton of options to choose from. Fundamentally, you can get a Submariner with or without date, with a black dial, or if you're lucky, you can get it with a green bezel. And only other colors if you're going for precious metals or two-tone. Omega variety is key. They've got black, they've got blue, white, green, gray, meteorite, you name it. Steel, carbon, two-tone, solid gold, titanium. Rubber strap, bracelet, mesh, leather. Regular chronograph with or without date. They've got bond collaboration watches are also there. The variety is huge. In the heritage lines, you get the Railmasters, the 300, the Ploprof, and more. Again, the point here is variety with good quality and good aesthetics. You've got big, small, vintage, tool, modern. The standout models for the nerds are the Ploprof, the Railmaster, and the 300. They're all gorgeous watches. And then there's the Speedmaster line, which includes the Moonwatch, which arguably is their most known watch out there. Even with the Moonwatch, you can get it in a model with a display caseback version or with a Hesselite version. There's also variety there, but it's also catering to the fans of the brand in a way that few other brands do. And then you have tons of variations in the 57, the two-counter versions, the heritage models, and so on. You've also got the special measuring or the instrument models. This is a thing that Omega does really, really well. Tons of really good watches with tons of variations to suit every taste. And again, I'm saying this, the point is this, it's not just that they have a lot of watches, they're good watches and a lot of people are going to like them. If I were to say which watches were their key watches, it would definitely be the Moonwatch, the 300M and the Aquaterra. These are the ones that appeal most broadly and are the best and most popular in their lineup. The gem of the Moonwatch collection, apart from the unattainable Snoopy versions, is the regular Moonwatch with the manual wind and Hesselite glass. It's affordable, ridiculously well made, and probably the watch in the world that is most versatile when it comes to straps. Then there's the plain old Aquaterra, which is just an excellent all-rounder and a super alternative to the Datejust or the Oyster Perpetual. It's more interesting and more unique. In the 300M line, I'm partial to the titanium bond watch, which I did a review of. It's a little bit overpriced, but it's gorgeous. It has no date window, which is a big thing for me. And the aluminium bezel will age over time, giving the watch a unique look. Among the more niche hidden gems are the Railmaster, especially the one with the Denimus dial and strap. And also, if you can get a hold of it, the Speedmaster Snoopy. The blue is just super cool. It looks great. I'm on a waiting list for it, which means I will never get it, but we can always hope. One of the things that Omega does really well is value for money and quality in movements. Omega really tries to make excellent watches at a reasonable price point. They're not as cheap as they used to be and are fast approaching Rolex prices, but their finishing is excellent for the price and their movements are some of the best in the business. They are well finished, they have great specs and excellent reliability. Secondly, as I said, variety and depth is key. They have a ton of offerings, which I think is key for them. Most people will likely buy the 300M or an Aquaterra or a Speedy, but I appreciate and value their commitment to giving people really good variations and alternatives. There is something in their catalog for everybody. Finally, I think they're a watch nerd brand. A thing that I really appreciate about Omega is that they seem committed to catering to watch enthusiasts both through variety, through special releases, like the Snoopy or the Bond watches, but also because they're committed to things like the Mars timer or the chime. These are either expensive or silly watches, but they signal that they want to be taken seriously in terms of innovation and creativity, and that gives them a plus in my book. As to what they could improve on, they could definitely improve on their bracelets. The 300M bracelet is chunky and, as far as I'm concerned, outdated. The new 300M mesh bracelet is pretty, but the clasp is oversized and it doesn't lie flat, which just annoys me. It's badly engineered in regards to the deployment. On the Aquaterra, the taper has been improved, but the center links are still too large and unbalanced compared to the side links. The only notable exception to this is the new bracelet on the Speedmaster. They've nailed it, maybe with a little bit too strong of a taper, but it does flow seamlessly from the case and it has a link style that is just excellent. I really hope they improve on this on the broader models. The last thing that they don't do so well is that their special editions and collabs are too expensive. The variety that they have sometimes entails that some of the more unique models like the titanium 300 are way more expensive than they should be. I get it, fans will buy the watch, but it's just exorbitant and it puts me off. So who are Omega watches for? Everybody. Omega clearly wants to appeal broadly and to watch nerds. These are not cheap watches, but they are clearly aspirational watches. They don't carry as much mainstream street cred as Rolex does. Rolex is still the quintessential success watch. An Aquaterra, Speedy or 300M just don't send that message in the same way. But they do send a message of excellent style, an appreciation of quality, value for money, and the opportunity to personalize to your own unique tastes. My own Grail Omega is the Omega Speedmaster Snoopy Edition. What's your Grail Omega? Tell me in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers.